What's the secret to making $1 million? In today's video, we're gonna find out from millionaires themselves. Thanks to Leon Hendrix picking his nose and calling him.
Oh.
Hey, man.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh,
So I
Alex
asked
Hormozy, my boy.
bunch of millionaires about what mistakes they wish they had avoided, and you're literally going
Wait, I like that edit. Did you see this? You see this right here?
about what
Puts himself in
mistakes
the
they
corner.
wish they had avoided, and you're literally going to waste years of your life if you don't know about them. Like these guys who are
True.
selling milk.
It was like 13 million in sales in a year. I think you just turned 20 and I just turned 18.
We thought we were like super millionaires, but once we did all the accounting, we found out we were $650,000 in debt.
According to a US bank study,
Yep.
82% of businesses fail because of poor cash flow management.
That's about
What is
right.
the most legit shortcut to make your first million?
Most people just don't take nearly sufficient action.
It took me several years to realize
Where money is flowing.
Identify.
I don't think this is talked about.
I would have made way.
The major thing is
But something interesting happened. Even though it seemed like they all had different points and stories, the more conversations I had, I realized there were really only 3 things that almost all of them were talking about. And the
This is a very well structured video.
first one, I hate to say it, is literally the biggest shortcut that almost nobody is willing to take, me included. See, most of us when we're starting out, we're looking for quick results and jump from one opportunity to the next.
I tried doing flyers once for a business that I had. Didn't work. Then I talked to a guy who all he did was flyers. And I was like, how did you do that? He's like, about 100,000 flyers up a month.
Volume.
I put up like 300.
But in the beginning,
See, that's the thing. It's a math thing. If you do a conversion rate of like 1%, but you're only putting out 100, you're only going to get 1. So it's like you have a conversion rate of 1%, but you put out 1,000,000 messages. Successful business.
I think it's all about building the fundamental business skills.
I realized that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of stupid people out there who have made millions of dollars, just kind of followed their steps.
Find a product that already is valuable, focusing only on proof of concept.
Learn processes, not just do what you think is necessary at the moment, but implement processes.
Most entrepreneurs, they want to skip these steps. They don't want to validate their product first or learn accounting and develop processes. They're focused on the short term. So what's that shortcut to success? I'm not hearing you ask. Thinking long term. I know it's boring. Told you don't hear it, but it is such a common
Ooh, what a good piece of advice. This guy stinks.
pitfall.
Instead of thinking long term, I've kind of went for some like shorter term money grabs, like for example, sponsors for videos. I didn't feel great about how the video came together, but I'd still put it out.
Even if that means saying no to shiny new opportunities.
We started AppSumo.com, which is, promoting software deals. But I think what people don't know is we've also started like 10 other products and we've killed most of them. What's an anthill and what's a mountain? Do you want to be on an anthill or you want to be on a mountain? I was like, I want to be the mountain.
There's a phenomenal quote I
Facts.
recently heard from this genius who said, everybody wishes they started thinking long term 5 years ago. Pretty smart, that guy.
Steve. Jesus. Leon's funny, but man, it's really true. If I could have thought long term about a lot of the stuff I was doing at the start of my YouTube channel, I definitely would have done things differently. Because about 2 years in, I started doing that, and then magically a year after that, things are better. I don't know. It's sad.
Guy. He's good looking too. Damn. Now, this second pattern was by far the most commonly talked about that these guys wish they knew earlier.
If you're not a millionaire yet, then you need to go hang around with millionaires.
When I was younger and I wanted to get to that first $1 million mark, I said, let me just go out and associate with 30-year-olds who are where I want to be so they can give me some advice on that.
This is really true. I mean, there's so many people that I want to, learn from, and it's mainly that demographic of people. And I bet it'd be good if I chatted with that demographic a little bit more.
Pay someone who is far more advanced than me a huge sum of money for me at the time. I would learn the skill and I would create a contact that was worthwhile.
It's your peer group. And to build these relationships, I think Hormozy had a really good point.
Like, be the person that other people want to network with, which is increase your own internal value.
But this second pattern isn't just about your peer group, although that's a part of it, because it goes a lot deeper than this. See, the first stage of entrepreneurship is you learning all these skills to take your business off the ground. But then almost everyone gets stuck. Some waste months in this stage, others literally years. All because they're too afraid to enter the you now have a real business stage, which is where you hire people.
Honestly, man, or woman, or whoever's watching, I do not get how I didn't think about, hiring earlier. It's been one of the best changes I've ever made. It's great. Absolutely amazing. totally worth it.
I had fear and hiring and letting go. As soon as I did that, that was massive for me.
Letting your control go is so difficult. I had struggles with that for years, and I still do. When people have a business, they want it done right. They know how to do it right. They got to that point.
But once you conquer this stage, you see everything from a much higher paradigm.
It took me several years for me to realize that I did not need to be the expert at everything. We get so caught up in being the one who knows the most that we ignore that all of the power comes from partnerships and relationships. That's when.
So like there's so many different times where if you're running a business, you'll think like,
oh, I'm the expert in like this business, so I know everything.
That's not usually how it works. You may be the expert of like the vision of where you want a business to go, but it doesn't necessarily correlate to marketing practices that can help that business explode, or, you know, the accounting part of making sure that you're legal.
When 2 + 2 can equal 5, I would have made way more money up to this point if I had gotten it earlier.
In this new paradigm, you don't ask yourself, how can I do this? But instead, who do I need? Who, not how. It's also a great book that I haven't read yet. I read the summary. So not how can I build an audience in 2 years to sell my product, but who already has an audience so I can do this right now.
In e-commerce, the biggest shortcut would be partnering with somebody who already has distribution or already has an audience. The other thing is if you partner with an investor so that you've got that $100 grand up front to be able to buy the inventory or to be able to buy the advertising, those two partnerships, it's really hard not to hit $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, respect that opinion. There are a lot of people who don't have the means to get investors, but I will say, like, if you have a bunch of money up front, it does help. Let's be real.
Really quickly. That to me is the ultimate shortcut that almost nobody is doing.
But there's even more to this second pattern.
The major thing is to take more time for my employees.
Financial capital is not the scarcest resource in the world. Human capital is. Resourceful, passionate people are the hardest thing to find. It is a talent game.
Firing people.
Oh my God. There's a book called The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster, which taught me a lot. And it's really true. Finding really hardworking people is difficult. And the most important thing is actually understanding that A players are kind of all you really want at a company, because B players are stagnant and C players make the A players do more work and kind of affect the culture.
People that don't have the right attitude or fit into the culture.
Talent is absolutely, you know, what you need to learn how to recruit. But I think part of that is you need to become the person that is worthy of that level of talent.
And you realize business at its core is not just about what you sell, how you sell it, the tactics and strategies. It's all about people. Because people are the ones who make the product, buy the product, implement the strategies. Everything starts and ends there. And yes, we're also always looking for driven talent to join our team. So check out collectiveambition.co to see
plug.
But even personal romantic ones.
Being closer to family, and then like thinking more serious about like long-term relationships, like eventually starting a family of my own. I might have.
Honestly, this is not a meme. This is me being real. Ever since I started trying to run a business, my opinion on how I want to pursue romantic relationships significantly changed. If people aren't in line with my obsession, it's going to be a rough time.
I've started thinking about that earlier.
I do wish I would have been more intentional 5 years ago about, like, if you want to be at this position romantically, what do you need to start today to get there?
But before we move on to number 3, here's the big problem that makes all of it useless. Maybe we can agree that if you took action on these things, then it could potentially save you years of work and unnecessary pain and headaches. But let's be honest, what are the chances you'll actually do it? You're actually executing on it, building relationships, building your skills, managing.
You see how long that timeline was? That was really good. That was really good. This is a very good point. Look, 2012.
You're actually executing on it, building relationships, building your skills, managing your cash flow. I bet you've heard most of this before, and you go, I know, nice tips, thanks. But then you get busy, something else seems more important, and you end up making the exact same mistakes.
There were like actually a lot of people telling us like, hey, dude, like you have to have your numbers. We didn't even like listen to those people.
I'm concerned that 90% of us will have to fall on our faces to learn these lessons. But do we really have to? And I bring this up because number 3 is the least likely to be implemented, but it's the most important point, because it's one of the biggest regrets of people who have made it.
The biggest thing that I could say after like having gone to the quote mountaintop is that there's nothing here. There's nothing on the other side. You feel the same now as you will in 10 years with more money.
He is so jacked. Look how jacked this man is.
Feel the same.
Just doing a business to find freedom afterwards
doesn't mean anything.
has to do it.
Don't worry about getting to the end of the bike ride. Just enjoy the part right now.
And you might be like, oh, that's good advice. Enjoy the journey. I've heard this. Yeah, I know. But do you really? Or in 5 years, are you going to be like, I wish I actually knew. And only a couple of years ago, I learned the one simple thing you can do to fix that. Because I was the same. I wasted years doing this. Once I built my business and I get back to Australia to be with my girlfriend again, then I'll be happy. Once I exit my business, then my life is different. Once I get my US visa, then everything changes. And it kind of did, but it kind of didn't. I was like a fly that kept banging its head against the window again and again, trying to get outside, thinking, I know this is not how it works, but let's try one more time, because I think this time it's different. No. Isn't.
I really wish like 10 years ago, I would have been able to enjoy more of the journey.
Identify with the actions and not with the end result. The actions is where the enjoyment is had.
Hard work itself is the goal.
The only solution I've found
this is hitting me
to prevent...
Might be a moment in my life right now. I do enjoy what I do when I'm working on Rise Productive, regardless of the monetary return. Vinny's probably editing this right now, looking at me like, all right, you gonna get back to recording the video? I need to hold on to this moment. If I got to do this for no money, but my life was fine from like a roof over my head standpoint, I think I'd be happier than anyone on the planet. Damn, okay.
All these mistakes, making sure you build relationships earlier and enjoying the journey, yada, 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 is by putting it on your calendar and protecting it, making it a simple habit, like reaching out to someone new every week to build connections, or keeping a gratitude journal changed my life. Since then, I've enjoyed my life so much more. By the way, I put together a few journaling exercises for you that really helped me. You can check it out below if you want to, or don't.
Yeah, I just had a big moment in my life. Be grateful about every single day if you're building something. You never know when it's going to end. You never know when something in your life's going to change, and the journey matters more than the end. So since it's the end of this video, though, you should check out this one right here.